If you ever have an applique that's got a folded over edge that you want to do a blind applique stitch, you don't have to manipulate a blind hem stitch like on most machines. On the Bernina 770 Quilters Edition, you go to the quilt menu and pick the built-in stitch number 1331 or 1331, and it's already preloaded with this little tiny stitch. Now I've gone ahead and put on your foot 20C, that's the open toe foot, and usually I would sew with clear thread, so it is truly blind, but I want you to actually see it, so I'm going to leave regular thread in, and as you can see by the little tiny bite, that needle is going to bite into our fabric and then do some straight stitches close beside the actual stitch. Now, as I line this up, I'm going to have to be somewhere in the middle of this great big foot. You will find that if you actually take and move your needle position to the far right side, so needle position at 5, then we can actually use the inside of this toe right here as a guide. So let's zoom in and see what it looks like when you actually are ready to do a blind applique stitch on the machine. So since I've moved the needle all the way to the right, what I can do is just utilize the inside of the toe as my guide. And as it stitches, it's going to stitch the 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches on the base fabric beside what I'm folding over here. This is just a little vine I did on the bias, and then letting it jump in with the little tiny bite. If the bite is bigger than you need it, and it's not bad, but let's make it just a little narrower. I'm going to bring it down to 1.0 and just see the difference here. Being that this is so small, actually it looks fine, but it is actually now about half the size as it was. And again, with clear thread, you wouldn't see any of this at all. Now, Bernina does make a magnifying glass accessory. If you start doing a lot of this, I would highly recommend that you purchase it because, and it just attaches really close by, it's just right here on this side, and there's 3 different magnifications you can get. And when you are doing such fine detail work, a stiletto or your stylus works really well here as I kind of work my way around this little curve. It really makes a big difference. And again, if you're working with clear thread, if for any reason you miss one of the folds, it's no big deal. You like barely see it at all anyway. So let's just take a look. This is how it is to look once it is done. As I made it a little bit smaller, I had smaller bites. Okay. And then another thing with clear thread you usually have to adjust your tension for a little bit, and then that way it doesn't pull up your bobbin thread. But usually if I was doing it on here, I would just have like a cream bobbin thread in here, a real lightweight one, and then I would barely see it. But if I saw any of the dots coming up to the top, I would reduce my top tension by maybe 2 full numbers. Okay, so if it's set at 4 as it is, then I'd take it down to 2. But then you can get it exactly what you want it to be. Even when it's showing with regular thread, it still looks really nice. But believe me, it looks even better with clear thread.